Hey everyone, it's Strange Michael. I hope you're doing well today. I don't have an unboxing video here. I don't really do anything like that here on the channel. Of course, this is kind of a newer setup, I guess, for the channel, but I do have a haul video here for some stuff I picked up before my move over the last month and a half, including today, some stuff I picked up that I wanted to share with you for my physical media collection and stuff. Now, a couple of these are things I'm going to have to probably test out, make sure they work. I've tested pretty much everything else aside from the things I bought today. A couple of the things I bought today look a little scratched on the discs, so I'm probably going to have to get those tested out and make sure they work. If they don't, I'll go back and get them cleaned at the store that I bought them from. But aside from that, I got a great haul for the last month and a half, some really cool stuff. So I guess this concludes like half of September and my entire October haul, from what at least I think I have everything on the desk right now, but maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, let's start off with kind of what do I have here. I have about 5 PS1 games, I have about 5 PS2 games, almost 10 Xbox original games, about 4 Xbox 360 games, 1 Xbox One game, and quite a bit of TV, and quite a bit of movies. I cannot talk to save my life. And next week is my birthday too, so I'll have a little bit of a probably a movie / book / game haul. But hopefully you guys will enjoy that as well. I'm probably going to wait till Friday of next week when I go to the same store that I usually go to pick up some cool stuff for my birthday with money I'm given from probably my dad or my grandparents on my dad's side. But anyway, the PS1 stuff, I guess I'll start off with. I usually do that. I kind of keep all the PlayStation stuff together in the haul videos and the Xbox stuff and all of that. Then the DVDs and Blu-rays I just interchange. It doesn't really matter to me when it comes to that because I'm not like a diehard Blu-ray / DVD guy. Anyway, let's start off with the first one here. This is for a series / franchise that I love quite a bit. It's a game that I played back in the day for PS1. I've gotten rid of my copy many years ago, probably 10 years ago at this point. But this is one I've wanted to play a lot in recent years. I actually saw some friends of mine talking about this movie in recent weeks on their channels. And I was kind of surprised because it just hit me out of nowhere. And then I happened to see this at the store I usually go to, and I grabbed it up. And it's from a series that I loved as a kid. I have this VHS tape, I believe, still to this day. And that is Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase for PS1. Man, I remember having so much fun with this, but it was kind of spooky a little bit. It wasn't as scary as Night of 100 Creeps or whatever it was for the PS2 that also frightened me, and I loved it too. Being a horror fan growing up with Goosebumps and everything. But I remember this game being so fun and unique, like with the snake monster thing here. I remember it being very creative, very cool, and very cartoonish for a kid's game in a good way. I mean all that as a compliment. So I'm very curious how well that will hold up if I go to play it sometime soon. And I guess we'll see. Maybe I'll do a review for it at some point. The next one here is one that I know I had. I don't remember anything about it, but I know I have a vague memory of owning this and playing it and loving it. And I got it for like $5 today. It's one that's kind of scratched up, so I'm probably going to have to be careful about it and pay close attention and test it out very soon, make sure it plays for quite a bit. But I loved this as a kid. I thought it was such a fun game for a series that I loved as a kid from, I guess it was on Nickelodeon. I think it was Nickelodeon, not Disney. Anyway, Bob the Builder, Can We Fix It? Yeah, you probably weren't expecting Strange Michael to break out a Bob the Builder fucking game here. It's not the most amazing game ever from what I can see on the back, but I know I remember some of this, man. I remember driving whatever this yellow guy is around, this bulldozer guy. But I remember that stuff, and I remember the show and loving that too as a kid, so hopefully it's cool. I did not know that, by the way, that it was from the BBC. I did not know that Bob the Builder was British originally, and then they like redid the voice and stuff and the music, I think, for America. I don't remember any of that, but I loved Bob the Builder as a kid, dude. This one I found last week. I cannot wait to play it. It seems to be very much kind of like a Mario Party game. I could be wrong, but it seems a lot like that. That game is South Park Chef's Love Shack. Excuse me. Yeah, I love South Park, as you'll see later on in this haul with some of the TV I picked up. I love some South Park, absolutely. But when I looked at the back of this, it talked about trivia, it talked about party stuff, multiplayer, that kind of thing, and it just seems to me when I look at the back of this and see like the mini games, it just seems to me like it's going to be like a Mario Party knockoff, which would be awesome with South Park, dude, because South Park can do that kind of thing. It can parody very well, it can be a great satire, and Chef being involved means this is old, dude. This is like about season 10 old, you know? So I love Chef. I love the boys on the show. This show is so fucking funny. If you haven't seen South Park, you're missing out. But I do have a present coming in for my birthday sometime next week, I assume. It's one that I picked up for myself. And it is going to be, I think it's South Park Rally. It's like a Mario Kart game, but with South Park. And that shit sounds amazing. I can't wait. Cannot wait. All right, the next game I have here, I think came out after the game that I'm about to show you after this. I could be wrong. But it's from a series a lot of people love. I've only beaten one game of the franchise so far, and that was Need for Speed Underground 1 for PS2. I beat that last year, and I talked about it on another channel. But Need for Speed Porsche Unleashed, I'm pretty sure this has like a DS port or something. I could be wrong, maybe it's too early. But I could have sworn I played this on like the Nintendo DS at some point, or something similar to it involving Porsches with the same type of cover too. But I guess I'm wrong, I don't know. But I guess it's a more Porsche-focused Need for Speed game. I don't know, maybe that's the only car in the game, maybe it's not. I don't know. Kind of looks pretty solid for a PS1 title, man. You know, these pictures and stuff, not half bad. And then I have Need for Speed 3 Hot Pursuit. Now, I'm curious, is this the first ever Need for Speed Hot Pursuit? Or is there like a Need for Speed Hot Pursuit and then Hot Pursuit 2 ties into that? But I'm pretty sure Hot Pursuit is this game and then Hot Pursuit 2 is the next one. But anyway, this one looks more rough than Porsche Unleashed when it comes to like the graphics and everything. Do you see that? By the way, that clicking noise you might be hearing is not some kind of weird monster or something. That's basically just the heat in the house. We have baseboard heating, so it's very ticky, if you know what I mean. But anyway, Need for Speed, awesome cover here, dude. I cannot wait to play these. I kind of want to go back and play the first one ever if I can find it. I think I have Need for Speed 2, I want to say, is what I bought this year. But I don't think I have Need for Speed 1. I do want to play that at some point and just work my way down the line because I feel like they'd be really, really fun and a blast. I don't know how unfair they might be. I don't know how far back the rubber banding bullshit goes that I dealt with in Underground, but we'll see. All right, I'm gonna get these PS1 games out of the way for me. I don't want to elbow it or something, you know. We're gonna move on to the PS2 games. Of course, I picked up 2 of these today. No, wait a second. I picked up 4 of these today. They were cheap too, dude. This store that I go to, all of this stuff is dirt cheap. We're talking like less than 10 bucks a piece. Sometimes they're like $1 and $2 a piece. Quite a few of these for the PS2 today were like $3 and $4. So I was surprised. Anyway, I picked up one last week. It was originally at this store on the original classic Xbox, and I kept saying, I'm gonna get that game. And lo and behold, my friend who told me about this store from work, he picked up the Xbox version of it. So I kept waiting. I thought, okay, if I find another copy, I'll grab it. No big deal. It's been a couple of months, and finally, Batman Begins shows up on the PS2 section. I've been wanting to play this forever. Never got a chance. And I've heard it's incredible. My friend really loved it. He had never played it before until he bought that Xbox copy from the same store. But he told me it was really, really good, and I was like, hell yeah. So I picked it up. I love Batman anyway. Who doesn't? I love the Nolan trilogy, except for Dark Knight Rises, obviously. So I picked this up. Super excited about it. I remember in 2008, when I was in middle school, I was so bummed out because I knew there was a Batman Begins game, but there was never a Dark Knight game aside from on your cell phone. And that game looked like it sucked ass. It looked like something from the Super Nintendo, and it just looked like shit. And I never got to play it, but I heard it was bad. But I was so offended the fact that we never got a game based on Dark Knight, but we had one on Batman Begins, which at the time I thought was a lesser movie. To be fair, it is a lesser movie than Dark Knight, but it's better than Dark Knight Rises that came out 4 years after that, but it's also not a lesser Batman movie. Batman Begins is very good as a movie. So, anyway, Batman Begins. I'm hoping this is really good. The next game here is one of the ones I picked up today. Apparently, this was like $3, I want to say, which is very rare for this place. You might see games at lowest cost, maybe $5 at this store, unless it's like an old PC game of like Lost Planet or something. But this was like $3 today, which kind of surprised me. It's for PS2. It's probably later PS2 because the case feels very cheap. There's no manual in here, which isn't a big deal either. But it's one that really caught my eye, so I'm hoping it's good and not shitty. That is Ferrari Challenge, I guess is all it's called. Really awesome cover. I love that particular Ferrari. I don't know its name, but I love it. But I flipped it over, dude, and it looks like Gran Turismo 4. I don't even like Turismo 4 that much, but man, this looks absolutely beautiful. Really, really, truly. I'm hoping this is good, man. But for $3, it has me a little patient, and a little, not patient, but a little cautious and worrisome. Because I feel like I'm going to get in a situation where this could be bad. But, oh well. Hopefully it's good. The next one here is another PS2 racing game. This one is just called Ford Mustang, The Legend Lives. Never played it. Never played it. I've played like Ford Racing 1. No, I played Ford Racing 2. I've never played 1 or 3, but I do own them. I bought them this year, I want to say, from the same store. But I saw this and I was like, huh, is it just Ford Mustangs racing? And the back of the cover seems to promote that idea. It's just a bunch of Mustangs, but man, it doesn't look half bad. It doesn't look as good as like Gran Turismo 4 or 3 or Ferrari Challenge, but it looks good for what it is to be what I assume to be, well, it says 2K Games down here, but I don't know. Hopefully it's good. I hope so. I don't think it ties to that Ford Racing game or anything. Right here I have 2 games to go into my Crash Bandicoot collection that I've never... I owned one. The one I'm about to show you I owned at one point in my life. But this particular one I did not know was a thing. It's called Crash Twinsanity. The cover's a little dirty, by the way. I don't like the cartoon nature of the cover. It's kind of goofy looking compared to most Crash covers. But it does have some like brown spots and stuff here I'm going to have to try to wipe off. I think it's just hopefully chocolate and not blood. We'll see because I've touched it so much today. So after I make this video, I will go wash my hands and then wash all this stuff down again. But anyway, I don't think I've ever played this, ever. It looks very bizarre. It kind of looks like a bootleg, like the cover and stuff. It looks kind of like a bootleg. And when you flip it over, you have things like, you know, N spanking Crash, which is weird. Weird Optimus Prime, not Pime, Transformer. I don't know. Hopefully it's good, even though it looks like a bootleg. But Crash Twinsanity. Never heard of this. I don't know if it's any good or bad. I recently bought Kart Racer from Crash Bandicoot, or Nitro Kart, whatever it's called. But I love Crash Bandicoot. I'm trying to get everything I could from it, because I have a feeling that people are starting to go back further and further to older gaming because of modern gaming and the always online DRM bullshit being so awful. So I don't blame people, but I'm also in the place of I gotta be careful and try to get what I can. This game here I did own at one point, and I got rid of it. I thought it was the only Crash Bandicoot sequel, because when I was a kid I had Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped for the PS1, and I still have that to this day. I love that game. But I got this one, and I was pretty confident that this was Crash Bandicoot 2, and it's not. This one is called Crash Bandicoot The Wrath of Cortex. So, I never played this one. It's a greatest hits version, but I had the Black Label one back in the day. And it looks good. It looks good, and from what I remember it was good. I just didn't like it enough to keep it when I was trying to sell stuff off back in the day when I was younger. Trying to sell things off for newer consoles and Xbox 360 stuff and that kind of thing, and I kind of wish I hadn't done that. I love my 360 so much, and I had wonderful memories with that, probably arguably more than I had with my PS2 when I was younger. But this was awesome back in the day, and I'm glad I found a copy. Came with a manual and everything, but this one is a little scratched up, so I'm probably going to have to get this one tested. So I'm going to put that one over to the side right here. I'm probably going to move the Bob the Builder game over there too while I'm thinking about it. Because depending on whether they work or not, which mind you, a lot of PS1 and PS2 games work fine even with quite a few scratches most of the time from my experience. But hopefully these are going to do very well. Hopefully. Let me take a taste of drink before I start showing you the Xbox stuff. How am I doing on time? Not too shabby. 15 minutes, I guess. Alright, we have quite a few Xbox One, or Xbox Original, Classic, whatever you want to call the console games here, that I'm hoping are going to be good. I guess we'll see. The first one here, I picked up because I knew the title of this game, and I couldn't tell where I knew it from, but I knew about it. I had never played this game before, I knew it 100%, but when I got up to the register, the guy that works at this particular store I pretty much bought all of this stuff from, except for a few things, told me that he asked me if I'd ever played this, and I said no. He said, "Are you familiar with Heavy Rain?" And I said, hell yeah, because Heavy Rain's one of my favorite games of all time, probably my top 10 or 15 games of all time. I love that shit. This is made by those guys, and I don't know if it's just one game or if there's multiples. As far as I can tell, there's just one game, maybe a spin-off, something like that. But this game is called Indigo Prophecy, and it's very much like a thriller, horror, psychological horror, Silent Hill type of game, and it looks incredible. it looks absolutely fucking incredible, man, for what it is at the time. The environments, the settings, and all that look beautiful. It says on the back here something very interesting. A stranger has been stabbed to death. The killer is you. That could be really, really fucking cool. I'm hoping Indigo Prophecy will be worth the time and the effort spent on to play it, but I'm hoping it's good, man. We'll see. Put out by Atari, too, man. When was the last time you saw a game from Atari that wasn't just like a Pac-Man release or Pole Position or something? I'm excited about that, though. I love Heavy Rain. I love that company's work, pretty much. I love The Quarry, too, which I think is something else they had made. But I'm hoping Indigo Prophecy is amazing. Apparently it's the same... Excuse me, I just had lunch. Apparently it's the same type of thing, too, where you just kind of wander around here and there and you poke buttons, just like you did in Heavy Rain. And I love that kind of game, by the way. I know a lot of people say it's just playing an interactive movie, but I still love that. As a big movie fan, I really enjoy that. I think it's something unique for movies, and unique for games, for that matter. Because a lot of the time, what I go to games for is not just the gameplay like most gamers. I like stories. I like tales. I like writing. I like stuff like that. And I love horror, so I want atmosphere. I want tales that are going to fuck with me mentally. And I have a feeling Indigo Prophecy is going to be one of those types of games that's really going to linger with me. So hopefully it's good. We'll see what happens. But anyway, the next one here is one that I've been looking for. It's called Far Cry Instincts for Xbox Original. Now, you might not know what this is. Basically, you might assume that this is the first ever Far Cry game, but let me tell you a couple of things. Apparently, Far Cry 1 came out on the PC only, and eventually, before Far Cry 2 came out, they tried to release Far Cry 1 on the original Xbox, and from what I understand, they did a release by taking the original game from PC and splitting it in half. So you have Far Cry Instincts, which is the first part, and you have one that I bought earlier in another channel where I did some videos called Far Cry Instincts Evolution, or Evolutions. I think it's Evolution, though. But those two games supposedly together make the first Far Cry game in total. Then you go on to Far Cry 2 and 3 and 4 and so on, all the way to Primal or whatever the newest one is. But I've never played any Far Cry, really. I rented Far Cry 2 with a cousin of mine one time, and I think we rented that and maybe Rogue Warrior or Deadly Premonition, something like that particular weekend. And he basically did all the playing for Far Cry 2. I loved certain aspects of it, but I wasn't in love with it. It seemed too open world for me, and that's weird because I loved GTA, I loved San Andreas, Saints Row, Vice City, all of that stuff at the time. So that was weird that I didn't like that, but I never really played any of it. I watched him go hunt people down and shoot at them in the Safari, which is what Far Cry 2 basically takes place in. Most of them do, I think, like a jungle setting or something. But I've never played the OG Far Cry games, and they look kind of cool. Of course, they're first person, just like usual. You have weapons and stuff. I'm really interested. I want to play these games in order, and I'm hoping they're good, so we'll see. But now I guess I have most of the Far Cry games. I don't have Primal. I don't have, what are some of the other ones? 6, I think, is the newest one, or 7. I don't have that, obviously. I don't have 6. I don't have 5. I think I have everything up to 4. Maybe everything up to 3. I know I own Blood Dragon on an actual physical disc in a 3-pack with 2, 3, and Blood Dragon. So yeah, I have everything up to 3 or 4, I think. Definitely the Xbox 360 generation, I have all of those. So 5, 6, and 7, or 5 and 6, whatever the newest ones are, pretty sure I don't have those is the issue here. But anyway, I plan on getting them at some point. I hope they're good. I doubt it, but I hope they're good. I'm going to get them on heavy-ass discount at some point, so... I think I saw Primal at a Walmart recently for maybe 20 bucks, I want to say, which was crazy. I saw that, and I saw Resident Evil 8 Village for like 20 bucks, where they're trying to get rid of the physical media games at Walmart now, following Best Buy's decision, which is probably a terrible idea for those dumbass companies, but I guess gaming's going that way. And like I said, with all the news happening, this is what you're going to start getting, is more and more people going back to older games and older media and stuff and buying that stuff up, because people just don't want to go full digital, dude. Some of the younger generations do, because they don't understand the ownership issue, I think, or how important this is and how it will affect everything in their lives, not just movies and collecting. But, I don't know. I don't know. I'm excited about Far Cry, though. I'm hoping it's good. I got a game here. Every once in a while, I pick up a game at the store. When I'm browsing around, it feels like I'm back in an old actual GameStop or something back in the day, just looking through older games and whatever, trying to find something I've never played before, something that appeals to me. One of my favorite genres of gaming is the first-person shooter. I love FPS, absolutely. And every once in a while I find something that piques my interest that I've never heard of, that I go ahead and buy on a blind buy for like $5, sometimes $10 at the maximum. This one was like $5 on the dot. I've never heard of this series. I don't know if it's part of the Ace Combat series or not. I don't think it is, because I think that's where you just fly planes like Top Gun shit. But this is one that piqued my interest when I flipped it over and looked at the back, because it looks like it could be very shoddy, but it might be either a very early classic Xbox game or it might be something else. But it is a military FPS. It's called Combat Task Force 121. I'm assuming with that title it's part of a series. I'm assuming. I don't think I've ever heard of it. I don't think I've ever played it, ever. For original Xbox, definitely didn't play because I only had a few games. That was quite a few Star Wars games, that's about it. But Combat, I don't know. I'm kind of curious, but I looked at the back. It is an FPS, like I said. There's some cool stuff there, man. You know, look at this. The gun doesn't look too half bad. The desert setting right here looks kind of cheap, but not bad. I think it's just old. I think it's what's going to happen here. So hopefully this is good. I'm trying to cheer for it, and hopefully cheer it on to being a good game. Now, I talked a moment ago about having some games back in the day for original Xbox that I didn't have many, but the ones I did have, I could acknowledge that they were well made, even if I sucked at them. This particular series I was horrible at. I bought the first one last year, started playing it around probably summer of this year, and I really like it, just haven't gotten very far into it, never beat the game at all. But I owned this particular game when I was younger, when I first got that original Xbox, and I really loved like the intro movie to both of the first two games of this series. And I just want to go back, now that I'm into RPGs now, and I'm a big fan classically of the franchise it's attached to, I'm really hoping that I can find something really cool in this to enjoy. Even though I've heard that this is not a completely finished game, but that is what it is. We'll see. That is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2. Yeah, I love this cover. Darth Nihilus is fucking cool. I think he's one of the coolest looking villains ever in history of movies, Star Wars, anything. He wasn't in movies, but you know what I mean. My case here, however, is broken, so I'm kind of bummed out about that, but at least I got a manual, you know? I got a manual, the disc looks incredible, really cool stuff. And like I said, these are RPGs. Most people know about Knights of the Old Republic. I don't really need to tell you too much about it, but, you know, I'm hoping it holds up better than what I remember when I played it back in the day, because when I played it, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I didn't know how to play an RPG. I didn't realize that you had to kind of pick a way to play. Like if you wanted to be a warrior and just worry about using like swords and whatever, you know, you needed to really pump your points into that and not try to even everything out like I thought you had to do. I thought when I was a kid that you had to, over the time of the game, that you'd be able to earn enough points to have every single category filled out evenly. So I wanted to hopefully play into my strengths and have everything even and be able to beat out any kind of curveball that would come my way. You just can't play RPGs that way most of the time. And I learned that by playing Dragon Ball Xenoverse this past year. I loved that game. I learned so much about how to play an RPG, how to approach it, what my particular play style is, and I learned more. The more I talked with some of my friends, I played Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion this past year, and I absolutely loved it. Might even go ahead and review it since it's still kind of fresh in my mind because I spent so much time playing the game. But Knights of the Old Republic 2, I'm kind of curious what it's going to be like. And like I said, I'm kind of in the middle, not in the middle of, but like in the beginning stages of playing Knights of the Old Republic 1. I tried to play it on my 360 though, and it was very choppy. Apparently there are certain games that you take from the OG Xbox to the 360, and even though they can play, they don't play perfectly. Like Halo Combat Evolved plays perfectly on my 360. I've never had an issue. But Knights of the Old Republic does not play good. It's very, again, choppy, kind of... It can't really play as well as it needs to really keep up with what's going on. You could be in the middle of a fight, and then the screen just kind of loses some frame rate, and then you're dead because you missed something that happened that was very important. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag, you know, but I really love Star Wars, so I want to give these another chance. Now that I'm pretty far into Knights of the Old Republic, further than I've ever been in the game, I'm loving it. Really cool stuff so far. All right. Now we got a series with a couple of games back-to-back that I love quite a bit. It's a series that I enjoy so much. My favorite in the series is called Mortal Kombat Armageddon. I don't know how late that came out compared to these two games. I think it was the next one to come out after these two, but I could be wrong. This one right here is Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. I think it said on the back of the box that this came out in like 2002. I want to say, yeah, I think it says 2002 at least for the copyright of it. And it looks cool. Typical Mortal Kombat. I'm assuming it'll be gory and fun. I don't know. Got it for like 10 bucks. Not too bad. The one behind that is Mortal Kombat Deception, which apparently came out in 2004. So I don't know if Armageddon came out between these two or after them or what, but I love Armageddon. That's my personal favorite Mortal Kombat game. It kicks ass, dude. I love the kind of roaming around, not open world stuff, but the puzzles you do. Then you get to like the regular old Mortal Kombat fights while you play the story of that game, and I love that shit. I think it is so good and so fun and crazy. So I love Mortal Kombat. I'm hoping the way this one looks, it has a lot on the back of it that seems very similar to Armageddon in that respect. Maybe it's a precursor, maybe it's, I don't know. But there are some things on here, like the Mortal Kombat chest, that seems like a stupid-ass idea. Then you have like a puzzle Tetris type of thing, too, that seems like a stupid-ass idea. So I don't know. This could be good, this could be bad. I got it for like 8 bucks, I think. But we'll see. I'm gonna take a taste of my drink, too. Before I go on further, as there's a little bit more to talk about. Alright. This next one here, of course, is part of the Crash Bandicoot series. It's one that I picked up a few weeks back. This is called Nitro Kart. I had quite a few issues with this. It looked like a really disgusting-ass disc. I put it in, it didn't work at first, I had to get it cleaned, and then I put it in again, and now it works beautifully, and it's absolutely phenomenal. This is just Crash Bandicoot with racing. It's like Crash, what is it, Tag Team Racing or whatever? Pretty much just like that, but better graphics because of the original Xbox setup. And it's wonderful, man. Absolutely wonderful. I love the environments. It's so colorful and beautiful, just like Mario Kart. I love it. Absolutely love it from what I played of it. I did a few races. I didn't want to get too involved and then start a brand new game all over again. I didn't want to do all that, so I took a break away from it. But Crash Nitro Kart, excellent work, dude. Excellent game, seriously. This game right here, I have a couple of games from this series in this haul here. You'll see in a moment. But I've never played this particular one. I don't think I've played anything around this era, aside from the Bad Company games on the Xbox 360. But this is Battlefield 2, Mortal Kombat. Modern Combat. Not Mortal Kombat. See, they're messing me up now. But of course, this is an FPS, military combat, military shooter, whatever. I don't know if it's first-person shooter or not. It doesn't look like it has any hints on the back of the box of being that. So, I don't know. But I'm not a big hardcore Battlefield fan. I think I played Battlefield 3 and maybe 4 on the 360, Xbox One, whatever. Haven't played the new ones like 2042 or whatever it was called. Haven't played anything like that, so the newer Battlefields I'm completely lost on. The original one, like Battlefield 1, I guess, before this, haven't played that. I haven't played this one, so I don't know anything about whether these older ones are good or not. But I remember Battlefield 3 being kind of a mixed bag. Now, they released a game called Battlefield 1, I want to say? Yeah, pretty sure. But I played that on my Xbox One because it came with it as like a kind of like a free game when you first get the console. And as beautiful as it is, I don't know if I love the game. It's got some cool stuff. Apparently, they're retelling actual stories of people in the military from World War II at the time, I guess. And I liked that. I thought that was a cool idea. It's a very neat idea for that game. But I don't know if I love it. It's beautiful, but I don't know if I love it. So, I don't know. This one I bought today. I have eyeballed this a little bit, but I did not see where it was a first-person shooter until today. It says, based on a training tool developed for the United States Marines. It's from 2K Games. What does it say at the bottom? Neither the United States Marine Corps nor any other component of the Department of Defense has approved, endorsed, or authorized this product. I wonder if it's bad. Apparently this is called Close Combat First to Fight United States Marines. I've looked at this goofy-ass cover forever. Now, mind you, I'm a very pro-military man. I love the United States. I love America. I love my military. I'm thankful for anybody who served, and if you happen to serve, God bless you. Thank you so much for your service, man. I'm thankful that I live in a country that's worth protecting, you know? And I see this cover, and it's just goofy shit, like the commercial I used to see all the time when I'd go to the movie theaters or on TV, where they would promise you free college and shit, which they don't do that anymore, do they? They would promise all of these things like that, and I would see this cover, and I kept thinking at the store every time I saw this in the recent weeks that, no, I'm not buying that shit. I decided to actually pick it up and flip it over today, and I saw that it's an FPS, and it looks pretty damn good. Look at this. Not half bad at all. Not half bad at all for an original Xbox game. So I'm hoping this will be something worthwhile. I'm hoping this could be a cool game, but again, I don't know anything about it. This next game here, I'm really excited for. I can't wait to start playing these in order at some point. I am a massive fan, as you'll see later on in the haul video, of another kind of sideways spin-off series compared to this that I love deeply. But I've never played this particular series, even though I own about like the first 4 games, I want to say. And that is Forza Motorsport. I can't wait to play this. I've been looking for this forever since I started buying up a lot of racing games recently. And this showed up, it was $10, and I was so excited about it. Looks amazing, probably going to sound amazing. It cannot be as complicated and stupid as Gran Turismo is. I'm still trying to get through the licensing tests on Gran Turismo 4 as I've been playing it recently. And I'm going to tell you, that shit annoys the hell out of me. Just like that ticking noise I'm having to listen to as I make these videos now that we have the heat on. So, Forza Motorsport, I've heard, doesn't have the licensing tests. I don't know if that's true or not, but hopefully it is true and I don't have to deal with all that bullshit. But I'm hoping it's good. I'm really hoping it is, because the licensing test thing just takes forever on Gran Turismo. But on top of that, it takes forever to get anywhere and make any kind of progress in that game, and I get annoyed doing the same races over and over and over again. But I've heard Forza Motorsport is better about that, so I guess we'll see. But I didn't flip it over to show you the back of the box. Well, did I? Oh well, I'll do it again. Yeah, I did, but anyway. It looks amazing for an Xbox original game. Speaking of that, the older I get, the more I'm convinced that I was wrong as a kid, because I would see things on my PS2 that looked incredible, like Kingdom Hearts and Jak 3, for example. They looked incredible, absolutely mind-blowingly, just beautiful, and they still do to this day. But the older I get, and I play things like San Andreas on my Xbox instead of my PS2, I'm convinced that the Xbox had more graphical capabilities at the time. I think PS3 and whatever really caught up to that later on, but the Xbox original looks incredible. When you look at certain games like that and their graphics and whatever, they look fucking beautiful and incredible, man, compared to what you would expect out of something who came out of nowhere as a competitor to PlayStation. Really cool stuff, man. I'm hoping it's good. Moving on to the Xbox 360 games, I have the brother, sister, whatever, to the game I just showed you. That is Forza Motorsport 2. Remember when the trailer used to be everywhere on TV for this? I mean everywhere, all the time, everywhere. This car, this Nissan 350Z that I was obsessed with because of Fast and the Furious 3 Tokyo Drift. But this game looks amazing, and I've always heard amazing things about it. Everybody I ever knew who was into racing games loved this and Midnight Club 3, and I heard nothing but praise about it all the time, dude. Forza Motorsport 2, I don't have anything to say against. Again, I haven't played any of these games before, so I don't know if they're any good or not, but I've heard that. I got it for a cheap price, which was about $10. Dude, I can't wait. I can't wait for this. Anyway, I talked about Battlefield a little bit, and I brought up a series called Bad Company. I had a copy of this game right here, Battlefield Bad Company, which is the first one, back in the day, and then I had Bad Company 2. I didn't love this game like a lot of people. The only reason I bought it this time around is because I sold my old copy. Gaming has gotten worse over the years, so now I'm just going back and buying old stuff I love, especially FPS shooters, because they're eventually going to get very hard to find. This is not a great game. Let me make that very clear. It's a beautiful looking game most of the time, but it's not really a great game. The characters kind of suck. But Bad Company 2, I still own. And I love Bad Company 2. Bad Company 2 was so perfect, from the jokes to the humor to the characters, the explosions, the weapons, the sound effects, everything. It was absolutely incredible for its time. So I bought this to be its companion piece now that I'm picking up Battlefield games and FPS games again. Again, because modern gaming is so bad. But I'm hoping this will be good. We'll see. But Bad Company, Battlefield Bad Company, whatever. Then I have a game here that I, one time, a long time ago, I was a big fan of this series and this franchise, and I still kind of am. It depends on what we're talking about. But I had a day when I was in school, I was very sick, and this was probably 5 or 6 years after this game came out. I was probably at the tail end of high school, I want to say. My grandfather, after he would come home from his third shift job at a factory, he would basically, and I lived with him by the way, my grandmother would send him out on like Tuesdays to go to the Hollywood Video and the Blockbusters and stuff nearby to pick up movies for the weekend. And he would go out and he would go rent them. And he asked me, since I was sick, if there was any games I wanted to pick up, and or wanted him to pick up. And I said, yeah, this particular one. He brought it home, I played it, and I absolutely loved it because of how clever and fun it was. I never beat it though. I got stuck on a level with I think either Starscream or Bumblebee or both, and I never could make it very far. That game, as I just told you, is Transformers the game for Xbox 360. Dude, this game is beautiful. It looks really good to this day. I never played the other games though, like Revenge of the Fallen or Dark Side of the Moon. I don't think they have any newer ones now aside from the casual, more G1 focused games you get most of the time, but Transformers is cool. I think it's cool as a franchise. I always loved it as a kid. And this first movie I really loved too. I think my grandfather and I went to see this together a long time ago, like what, 2007? Jesus. Good God, it's been like 16 years. Transformers the game was super fun. I love hitting a button and just watching my gigantic robot turn into a very small car, and then just getting to drive around like it's GTA at that point. But it wasn't that simple. It wasn't just like an open world game or whatever. It was a kind of time-centric game. You had to go on a timer to do certain things and whatever, and that was fine, whatever. But I got stuck at one point. I never could beat where I was at in the game, and I really hope I can someday because I really want to beat this game. I saw it in there for like $5. The case is destroyed. So, with this big old chunk of plastic hanging off, I don't think there was a there's no manual in here too, so they gave it to me pretty cheap, which is cool. But I'm hoping it's good. Again, when I go back and play it at some point. Whenever I get the time. I have so many new things, not only in this haul, but stuff I picked up this year that I haven't had time to get around to, because of course, last month was October. I had a lot of stuff I wanted to watch for Halloween. Coming up the month after this one is going to be Christmas time, so I have a lot of shit I want to watch for Christmas time that I'm going to start in November this year, too, to try to not be so bogged down and panicky over trying to watch so much stuff all the time. But Transformers the game, I can't wait to get around to play it at some point and talk about it on the channel. Maybe it's sequels at some point. I don't know, we'll see. Hopefully they're good. And hopefully that one holds up. This game right here I mentioned briefly earlier. It's one that I bought as a goofy-ass thing. Just so you know, this one is like in perfect condition almost, and it has the manual and everything. It's a game that I rented many years ago. I brought it up in this review, and I got it for like $5 at the store that I go to. And that is Dick Marcinko's Rogue Warrior. Rogue Warrior looks like a Punisher game, doesn't it? You flip it over, looks amazing, looks like it has really good graphics. Look at this Punisher-looking guy right here. Look at that. Look at how good that looks, right? Then you have this quote right here. I am the wrathful god of combat. This game may be one of the worst games I've ever played in my life when it comes to FPS or otherwise. And I say that mainly because when my cousin and I rented it one weekend at my dad's, we rented this, and I believe either Far Cry 2 or Deadly Premonition the same exact weekend. My cousin considered it a massive loss because he just hated all the games we rented no matter what it was, but he liked Far Cry 2 if that happened to be the weekend. But anyway, Rogue Warrior is an FPS, and it has one little unique thing to it that when you're killing people, if you hit like I think it's the right joystick or whatever, you press it down, you do like a really cool combat kill where you like go into third person instead of first person, and you like do a really cool takedown for somebody. It's really sick, I like that. But Rogue Warrior, Rogue Warrior had the shittiest shooting, the shittiest level design. It was just fucking awful. And I talked to the guy at the store that I bought this from about it, and I asked him if he had ever played it. He said no, he'd never even heard of it. I am shocked at this point that no one are doing video essays about how bad this game was, or calling it the worst Xbox 360 game ever made. It's one of them, man. I will stand on that grave until the day I die. I haven't seen it in person in a while, but I happened to be at the store about 3-4 weeks ago. And I saw it in there, and I just could not get it. I haven't had a copy of this since back in the day when I rented it, and it was horrible back then. I haven't played it right now, but I remember how bad it was. I remember specific things from the game, aside from the takedowns just being awful. I remember the aiming being awful, the gunplay being awful. But I bought it as just a fun memory of something that I hated so deeply with my cousin. We still talk about it to this day, and I haven't told him yet that I bought a copy of it, so I'm going to show him that sometime, send him a picture of it or something whenever I get a chance. But apparently it's based on a book series too. My cousin's dad actually had read this book, or one of the books, and it looked like shit. Hopefully it would be better than what this game was, I don't know. But that's all I have to show you for the Xbox 360 and that really awful game called Rogue Warrior that I bought as a joke for myself because of how cheap it was. So many good games I want to get and try out at some point. I could not avoid that. Every time I saw it, I just said, shit, I need to buy this because I need it for my collection. I need to have it because it's an FPS game first and foremost, but also because I just love making fun of it all the time. Now, the final game here is an Xbox One game. I talked about that briefly as well. That is Forza Horizon 3 for Xbox One. I've been looking for this game forever. I cannot find a copy of it where I live at in Virginia. I finally got it from the store I was buying pretty much all of this stuff from. Forza Horizon 3 is part of a series that I love deeply. Forza Horizon is absolutely incredible. I played the first and second one to absolute death. I love those games so much. Matter of fact, Forza Horizon 2 may be the first game I actually played and completed on my Xbox One because of how much I adored it. It was just so amazing. And I finally got this, and I started playing it before I moved last weekend. I want to say probably the weekend before, actually. Yeah. I want to say the weekend before, actually, was when I played it. But dude, it is absolutely beautiful. It takes place in Australia, and you can not only drive on the streets, but they also have you driving through like kind of jungles at some certain points. The races are on point. The music is just as great as ever. I love this shit. Forza Horizon 3, dude, it just holds up the title of being as amazing as the other ones. Now, I own number 4. I wanted to play them in order, though. I'm just like that sometimes, depending on the game series or whatever. But I wanted to play them in order, so I kept waiting on playing 4 until I could play this. 3 is amazing. I love it. But I don't own 5. I thought I saw 5 today, but it was just regular Forza Motorsport 5, and I didn't want to pick that up yet. It was only $10 though, and then they had 7 right beside it from like, what, last year? For like $20? So that was kind of crazy. But anyway, I'm hoping it's good. Forza Horizon 3 is great, and hopefully I can find 5 at some point. Now I'm going to move the DVDs and Blu-rays over here in front of me. I'm going to move everything else over here to the side. Okay. To start off, I have a little bit of TV to show you. First and foremost, I'm a huge South Park guy, as I talked about with the PS1 game I picked up. And I bought the complete and 10th season from Big Lots for like $5. I love South Park. I need to start buying all the seasons because it's only a matter of time until they completely shut this down, especially after what Disney got from them like last week. Holy shit, that was great. I love South Park, man. Just, it never gets old. I know there's some seasons, probably like this particular season I'm about to hold up, I believe, that have like the Tegrity Farms era, where like the whole season was just its own unique, tied-together story. I don't like that as much. I like standalone South Park. I think most people feel that way. But the specials they've done have been unique and wonderful. The exclusive events, I mean, they've been great. I also picked up the complete 19th season, which I'm excited about. But this right here on the front of the 10th season, this episode where they're obsessed with video games and whatever, I love this shit. And on the back they have the Dog Bounty Hunter parody they did, which is cool too. But I love South Park so much. So many good memories of the same cousin I played Rogue Warrior with talking about this show. He got me into it. He got me into things like Grand Theft Auto. So I've been a fan of all this stuff since I was probably 10, you know, and I just love it. I never could keep up with what Cartman was saying because of how fast he would talk, and I loved it though. But here's one of my favorites too, where Sharon and Randy pull guns on each other. It's just so great, man. I love PC Principal. He's so funny. I just love all of it, dude. But $5 for each of those at Big Lots, which was cool. I got this as Big Lots as well. It's a show that I love the first 2 seasons of. I've never seen the other ones. I think there's I want to say there's 4 or 5 seasons of this show, but I loved season 1. I thought it was perfect. Season 2 was pretty damn great too. Sorry, I had some plastic on the spine of this thing. But it's on Netflix, and that is 13 Reasons Why, season 1. Remember when Netflix was doing releases on DVDs for stuff? Like they did this, I'm pretty sure I saw Daredevil season 1 and season 2. Maybe Jessica Jones also, I could be wrong. But then they just stopped, because they realized it was going to harm their business probably, or at least they thought it would. It probably would, let's be honest. But 13 Reasons Why season 1 was so great. If you don't know anything about it, basically what this was that there's a young girl who may or may not have killed herself. There might be a lot of reasons why, but she leaves 13 tapes behind explaining to different people, and each of these tapes are directed to certain people at her school or in her life, to let them know why she did what she did, why she became what she became by the time she died. And Dylan McDermott from Goosebumps is in this, and I just really loved this show. It's so sad and so depressing and beautiful. It's amazing. Selena Gomez was involved with this show quite a bit too, I believe, and they knocked it out of the park, man. Again, at least the first 2 seasons, I think they absolutely nailed it. It's probably one of those shows, though, kind of like Stranger Things. It should have stopped after 1 season. There's no reason to continue after that point. When you do that, you risk of ruining the show. They did okay with season 2. They did above average with season 2. I thought it was good. But the first season, excellent. Excellent show. All right, is there any more TV to show you? Kinda, but kinda not. Okay, let me go ahead and go to the next thing I have right here, which is a Johnny Knoxville film I wanted to see. I got this for $5 as well at Big Lots. And I got this a few weeks back. About 3 weeks ago, I want to say. And this movie is called Action Point. It's kind of one of those films like Bad Grandpa where it's basically just pranks, you know? But also like a real movie with real stunts in it. And it's basically based around this theme park, amusement park, whatever, that people were getting killed at by accident because of how bad the rides were and stuff. The commercials for this looked hilarious. They didn't look as good as like Bad Grandpa or what's some other stuff, like a Jackass, that kind of thing. It didn't look as good as that stuff, but it looked good, and I felt like I was the only person who wanted to see this movie, so I picked it up. I can't wait to see Action Park. Hopefully, or Action Point. I hope it's good, though. Oh, man, I'm like 45 minutes into this review, or video. I gotta be a little bit rushy now, I guess. Alright, so I was at Walmart this past weekend, and I happened to see this on the shelf for $10. I remember hearing people talk about this. I don't think I've ever seen it before. But I went ahead and got it, just out of curiosity. It says it's 2 volumes in 1 DVD set, but it says it's 54 episodes, so I was thinking in my head, this has to be the entire series. It has to be, because most shows didn't make it longer than a few years on Disney Channel. And this is Goof Troop. For $10, I got the entire series. I checked it out. Pretty sure all 54 episodes make out the entire show. And let me look that up just to confirm really quick. But I'm pretty confident that I'm right about that. Let me check that out. Goof Troop. IMDb is so slow. Sometimes if you have the thing, you know, if you close your lock screen or whatever on it, and you try to open it back up with your thumbprint or whatever, half the time it just takes forever to load if you start searching for something. Ah, shit, that's a bummer, dude. It says it's 78 episodes long. Really? 78 episodes? Where's the rest of the series at? Oh, well, there ain't much more to get. I guess there'd be like 1 more volume after that. I'm worried that maybe this is like censored now. Like, maybe they had to remove episodes or something, but it says 2 volume collection, so maybe there is a 3rd volume floating around out there, but I will try to find that and I will collect it, because I love Goofy, I love old Disney, and I love the 90s. Apparently this came out in 92, I think it ran to like 94 or something like that, but really cool looking cartoon, just Goofy and his son Max from the Goofy movies. And I love everything having to do with Goofy and Max. I love the Christmas specials that involve him and Max. And I still have the DVDs and VHSs of that stuff. But Goof Troop looks cool. I'm hoping it's good. I've heard the name over and over again, but I know I've probably never seen this show before. Then I turned around, I looked in the $5 bin at Walmart, and I found 2 more movies that put me in a place where I was like, I'm going to buy all of this shit. And I'm going to have the weekend I celebrate my buying my first house ever be Goofy focused. So now I own the movie that I've never seen, a Goofy movie. I've never seen this movie. Never. Never seen it. Apparently the same voice actors come back from the original Goof Troop show to be on this. And then I turn around again as I'm digging through and I found an extremely goofy movie, the one I did see that I loved deeply as a kid. Never owned it, but I did love it quite a bit. The Saturday Night Fever cover tribute here is really cool. But now I have both of the movies and I own most of Goof Troop. Fuck, I cannot say that to save my life. But yeah, Goofy was the focus of my weekend when I bought my first house ever. So that's cool. Then I have a movie here that I loved when I was a kid. I got to see this in theaters in like 2007 or 8, 6, whatever it was. 2006. Jesus, it's been a long time. God, that's... like in 3 more years, it's like 20 years ago. Good God. Anyway, this is the remake of When a Stranger Calls. It's the first one I ever saw of that series, franchise, whatever you want to call it. It is a remake. But I loved it. I loved it so much when I was a kid and I saw this in 2006. I was probably 12 years old when this came out. I saw it with my mom in the theaters. I loved it. I think we took some neighbor girls. One of them I had a crush on. The younger one was her sister. We went to the movies, I'm pretty sure, with them to see this. And we had a blast. It was creepy. It was fun. Not the best movie ever, but just good enough that I wanted to buy this. It was only $1, so I went ahead and grabbed it up. But I loved this when I was younger, especially like the Prom Night remake and stuff when it all came out around the same time when they started doing a bunch of remakes. Like Halloween came out the year after this. A few years later we had Friday the 13th. 4 years later we had Nightmare on Elm Street. You know, Stranger Calls was cool and I liked it a lot. It was the first time I'd ever been exposed to that urban legend about getting a call from somebody inside of your house or whenever you call the police, they tell you it's from inside of the house. That was the first ever time watching this movie that I experienced that urban legend. That was in a lot of things like Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, all over the place. Really cool stuff though. But I'm hoping that's still going to be good. But for $1, great time to risk it, because if I tried to rent it and see if it was any good, it'd be at least $5, maybe $3 at the cheapest on Amazon Prime Fire Stick. So I went for it. The next movie here is one that's gonna be possibly a miss for me. We'll see how it goes, but again, cheaper to buy it this way for $3 than to rent it for $4 or $5. And I went ahead and picked it up, just out of curiosity, in case I like it, because I like the lead actor here, and so far I'm really digging this franchise. I've started watching a movie a while back with Schwarzenegger called Conan the Barbarian, and I fucking loved it. I actually wanted to get a copy for my birthday, so I picked it up. Or at least I pointed out basically what I told my mom, the cover that I wanted for that movie on DVD. Excuse me. And so I will probably have Conan the Barbarian for my birthday, the one I at least picked out for like $7 or something. And I haven't seen the sequel though, Conan the Destroyer, I think is what it's called. Haven't seen that yet, but I went ahead and picked up Barbarian, and I can't wait to watch Destroyer. And now I have Conan the Barbarian, the remake, with Jason Momoa, who I love quite a bit. I'm hoping this is good. I heard bad things about it, but I'm a lot less judgy on movies than a lot of other people are. It kind of depends on what it is. I just love movies, you know? I want them to be good. I want good stories. I want good performances, that kind of thing. But if a movie doesn't have the best type of character writing or something for an action film, I'm not going to care about that. I just want good action. I have a feeling this was good and that people just didn't pay attention to it. It came out around that time that things like Hercules came out. What's a remake? Clash of the Titans had come out around that time. Wrath of the Titans came out around that time. There were so many movies at the time that came out that looked just like this that I feel like a lot of people ignored it. John Carter of Mars was one too. So I feel like a lot of people just didn't pay attention to this. But Jason Momoa is a good actor, and I feel like if anybody could take Schwarzenegger's place when it comes to a remake of one of his movies, it would be Momoa, you know? So I'm hoping this is good. We'll see. But for $3, you can't pass up on that, especially if it's good, because then I don't have to rent it for $3 or $4 or $5, like it or hate it, and if I end up liking it, then I go and buy it, which I had to spend more money to do. Now I just have it in case I love it. So we'll see what happens. I'm probably going to watch Destroyer some point soon, and then I'll watch that one, obviously, and find out what I think. But I've heard Destroyer was bad, so we'll see. This movie here I love quite a bit too. Got it for $3, a special collector's edition with quite a few features on it. Commentaries, deleted scenes, making of, all of that. For a movie starring John Travolta and Nicolas Cage, which probably gives away what it is, that is Face Off. I love Face Off. I don't care what anybody says. Yes, it's goofy. Yes, it makes no sense. But I love it. If you haven't seen it, you should. Really cool little 90s thriller flick type of thing. We're almost going on an hour now. Cool. Oh, you know what? When a Stranger Calls is one of the ones that are kind of scratched up pretty bad too. I need to put that over in the pile to test it tonight when I get home from work. And we'll see. Hopefully they all work. The Bob the Builder game, the fucking Crash Cortex game, and the fucking When a Stranger Calls movie. The final thing here is one that I have watched over and over and over again on my mom's DVD copy of it. Saw it today for like $3, and I grabbed it immediately for a Blu-ray, DVD, and digital copy. I'm sure the digital copy is already used, but oddly enough, it's one of the very few ever that came with a copy for digital that's on a disc, which was strange to me. Anyway, that movie is called The Expendables. I love The Expendables. This is the best of the series. I think Expendables 2 is good. Expendables 3 sucks dick. It's awful. Haven't seen 4. I heard it was the worst one ever, but I would be surprised. But the first ever Expendables, absolute classic 80s throwback, just a wonderful flick. Highly recommend it if you haven't seen it before. But my camera's trying to die right now, so I need to hurry up and wrap this up. Really can't wait to watch that again. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope that you had a good time with the haul video. I wish I had charged my camera up more before I did all this. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Hopefully you'll let me know down in the comment section down below what you've watched, what you've played, if you like any of this stuff, if you hate any of this stuff. Have you ever played Rogue Warrior? You don't know what it's like to hate something until you play that game. Really want to hear your thoughts about all this stuff, guys. Anyway, thank you all for watching once again. God bless you all. Have a happy Thanksgiving if I don't talk to you by then, and goodbye.